What is going on? Welcome back to another video. Today in this video I'm going to share something really special. Alright, this is incredibly personal kind of story. It was a pivotal point in my trading and I literally never looked back. It's about how I turned the tables and how I became a profitable trader by focusing on one key psychological aspect. Man, I knew how to analyze charts, I knew how to analyze trends, I knew how to draw levels, I knew how to literally watch the right setup, but this one problem in my brain was literally causing me to not ever make money. Alright, if you've been struggling with day trading, man, especially with options, this might be just what you need to hear. Let's dive in. Now, I kind of broke this down into 3 or 4 different segments, so stick with me, alright? So the first thing that I want to discuss is, like many of you fam, I faced constant challenges when I was starting out as well, especially in my early days. For first 14 months in my trading career, I was losing money every single month and I was doing everything by the book, but something was off. My trades would not go in the direction which I want them to go. They will eventually move in that direction, but I'll always be a little bit late. And then one day I was just watching this podcast. I don't remember exactly which podcast it was, but basically what it was it's not about strategy, it's not about watching the charts, it's more about the mindset, it's more in the mind game. Okay, so I remember this particular one day clearly. After a particular I had a rough trading day. I finished the day, I sat down and I legit started crying. I was crying, like I was bawling my eyes out. I was crying. And I was like, man, what am I doing wrong? Why is this not working? And basically when I was asking this question, because I saw everybody else make money and I'm losing money, and that's why I asked this question, what am I doing wrong? It kind of made me reflect on what was happening. Then I kind of sat down, I wrote down this, it's not the market, it's my approach towards the market. I was too stressed, I was fear of losing, and always kind of clouded my judgment, it clouded my decisions, what I need to do moving forward. So now you might ask, what changed? And what changed? It was my mindset. Now, from that point onwards, I shifted my focus from trying to win every single trade to literally trading the right way. Now, let me explain with an example. One of the rules that I had, very simple rule that I was used to trade, was a simple rule called wait for a pullback, especially with options, right? Now, for example, this particular chart right here, right? Made a huge move. Look at this, 464.37 to all the way to 466.7. My old me, you know what I've done? I would be literally like the FOMO would be bad, right? I would have jumped into this trade in the middle of nowhere just because of FOMO. But I had this rule, wait for a pullback, right? And I trade on a 5-minute chart. So I took a step back and I'm like, okay, if I buy here, where would my stop loss be, right? If I buy here, if I have to go long, let's say somewhere around here, my stop loss will be at least low of the day. What's the profit target? I have no idea where you're going to stop. For example, let's say here, but am I willing to risk, literally that's 1-to-1. I'm risking $1.92 to make $2. Is that good enough? No. So instead I started waiting for little pullbacks, or I always knew to wait for pullbacks, but I'll never do because I'll feel like I'm missing out. But with my new trading approach, this, mindset wise trading approach, I took a step back and I was like, you know what, let me assess my risk. And I realized it kind of didn't align with my strategy. I shouldn't take this. And what I started doing, I need to wait for a pullback. I need to wait for 1 5-minute red candle. So by the time the candle closes, it should be a red candle. That's what I'm waiting for. Look at this. It's still, we haven't seen a red candle yet, but I'm not jumping in. No, that's not my trading approach no more. What I did, I made a huge move still. And I'm like, man, I'm getting angry. I remember this day, man. I remember this exact day. This is like a recent example, but back in the day, same charts, man, it repeats, right? I waited for 1 red candle. Now, when I saw a red candle, I remember exactly what my setup was. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go long. The moment this high of this particular candle breaks, my stop loss right below it. So now I'm risking about 40 cents for a potential big reward, maybe towards 470, right? And this is how the trade went. I remember. Look at this. It literally went to 470. You see what I'm saying? The moment it broke this, went long, literally made a huge move. Now, what changed here? How was I able to catch this move? How was I not able to lose any money? You know what changed? I just started waiting psychologically. I need to wait for a pullback because I understood one important concept. The important concept was waves. Now, you might be like, bro, what's waves? Let me show you. So waves simply is stocks like to move in 3 different waves. There's one is wave 1. This wave 1 simply means after every strong move, there's always going to be a pullback, which is wave 2. After every strong pullback, if the stock decided to go in the original direction, they're going to be wave 3. I understood this. Wave 1, wave 2 is a pullback, wave 3 is a move in the original direction, right? The moment I actually started using in my trading, I knew that I need to wait for a pullback. I need to wait for a wave 2. Now, this is wave 2 right here. If I never wait for wave 2, I'll always be literally getting stopped out the moment this wave to the pullback happens. So what I used to do back in the day, I remember I'll buy here, I'll buy at the top, and then a pullback will happen. I'll get stopped out here. I'm like, man, I get stopped out. The move will move again. Then I'll buy again here. I'll get stopped out. Then move will go. And that was my story every single day, pretty much. It was frustrating. I remember, man, it was frustrating. But I understood the waves. I understood wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. I knew where the prices can stop, right? So what did it do for my trading though? So the real source in trading, especially in option, is the emotional discipline. It's about controlling your fear and your greed. And I was like, man, you know when people say, oh, don't be fearful, don't be greedy. Man, you have to be a little bit fearful. You have to be a little bit greedy. It's like the Venn diagram, right? So what's a Venn diagram? Venn diagram is pretty much two different circles. One circle, another circle. And whatever is overlapped is where you make money. So this is fear. Let's say this is fear. And this right here is greed. You know where the profitability is? Profitability is somewhere in the middle. Now, what do I mean by that? You have to be a little bit fearful. Why? Because that'll simply help you from not losing the money in the market. Why? Because you're a little bit scared. Oh man, what if the trade doesn't work? It's important. Otherwise, you'll take big risks. But you have to be a little bit greedy as well. What does that mean? So being greedy simply means, okay, I need to catch this move. I can't be scared. I have to be a little bit greedy. So let me take half my position size off and let the other half run for a bigger profit. So you see, fearful and greedy a little bit in the middle. That's where the money is. And that's what I actually started doing. I understood that, okay, I need fear, I need greed. So every time I'm about to make a trade, I literally ask myself this one simple question. Am I being rational or emotional? And this simple question, man, has saved me for so many bad decisions. Because you know what I would do? Be like, I'm about to jump into a trade. Oh, am I being rational or this is just emotional? It is just emotional. See what I'm saying? I remember another example that I'll give you is another quick story. This was about one trade that kind of just this trade I was like looking at, it looked perfect. I was like, man, this looks so good. Let me jump in. But one thing that I realized on a daily chart, it was sitting at a very critical level. I wanted to go long, but on a daily chart, it was sitting at a very strong resistance level. So instead of me going, oh, what if it breaks this level and make a huge move? You know what I said? I'm like, man, it's trading below the critical level. If it breaks the critical level, then I'll jump in. I don't want to jump in now. You know what it did? It touched the critical level. It rejected. Huge red candle. I'm so glad. I literally was sitting there. I'm like, man, thank God I didn't do it. Now, there's another lesson that I learned was look for bigger scale. Sometimes you need to zoom out, check the daily charts. Check the daily chart. If there's a critical level on a daily chart sitting right at the top, don't jump in on a small time frame. Why would you do that? Even if you want to go long, if it breaks the critical level, then comes back, retest on a 5-minute chart, sweet, go for it. But otherwise, what if it rejects? See what I'm saying? So the key ingredient to success, literally what I learned was that it's about consistency, it's about patience. It's not about making a huge profit every single day. It's about steady growth. Like, I don't want you to make $4,000 in a day and then lose it all next 3 or 4 days. I'd rather have you make $400 every single day consistently for a year. And that's $400 times 252 trading days. That's $100,000 a year. You see what I'm saying? It's about steady growth. It's about consistency. And of course, you're going to have some red days, but I'm talking about average $400 a day, right? And in order to do that, your mind needs to be literally at a strongest peak ability all the time when you're trading. So if you're not feeling well, don't trade. See, there are a few little rules. If you didn't sleep enough, don't trade. Or if you have a hangover from last night's party, don't trade. Or you woke up a little bit late, don't trade. These are little few rules that I made for myself, and they literally, I never looked back. Of course, I'm assuming that you have a strategy. If you do not have a strategy, then you won't be able to do any of this. You see what I'm saying? And that's my story, man. I shifted my focus from literally all this, just trying to find the perfect strategy, to now strategy plus psychology and emotional discipline. It made all the difference. It made me millions of dollars. And I remember in trading, sometimes the best thing to do is literally not take a trade. And I decided to sit down and make a plan for myself how I'm not going to trade rather than how I'm going to trade. I just made myself not to do list. People make to do list. I make myself not to do list. And then I understood it's not about charts. It's about how you approach the charts mentally and emotionally. Right? But yeah, thank you for watching, fam. If you found my story relatable, or if it kind of gave you a new perspective, make sure you hit the subscribe button and follow for more insights. I love to hear your story too, so make sure you comment down below and I'll read every single comment. Until next time, keep trading smart, man, and be careful when you trade. Right? Let's fucking go.